Greetings, Banff Warriors. Greetings. Greg is back. So are you. Another live stream message for the Results Kill Excuses channel. I'm always grateful for everybody that tunes in here as we are just getting started. And I don't know, maybe it's been a few weeks. Maybe it's been a little while since I've been on here for a live stream. I'll tell you what, just a quick little recap on the past few weeks energetically, because I'm always tapped into that energy. What's going on? What's really happening? Ooh, man, there's been some big energetic waves happening. And it really got me thinking as I've been just like sitting in the energy. What about you? Do you sit with the energy? Do you just sit? Can you sit with yourself? I honestly think that's got to be the hardest thing for modern day humans to do, is to just sit with yourself in silence. Listen how silent it is here. It's so quiet here right now. It's quiet. It's so quiet. And if you sit in that quietness with yourself enough, guess what? You're going to start to hear this still quiet voice, this very quiet voice. It's going to start speaking to you. And the thing I've learned is I haven't always wanted to hear what that little still quiet voice has to say. Call it the Holy Spirit, your higher self, your spirit guides, God. That still quiet voice, though, it's looking out for you. It's looking out for me. It has your best interest, but yet, how do you get past all the noise, all the distractions, all of the chaos in this world? How do you get past all of that to just get so quiet with yourself that you can just be still to hear it? Start having a dialogue, knowing that it's not just a one-way conversation. Not just a one-way conversation. Good evening. Yeah, I don't even know about any of that, man. I don't really get caught up too much into politics here. Just an FYI, if that's kind of what your cup of tea is, you need to get stimulated, man. Let's start fighting each other. Right? It doesn't really none of that matters. It's all distraction. It's all distraction. And it's to distract you from what I've been talking about here for the first few minutes, which is to get into that still quiet voice. Can you be quiet enough to just let all that noise, all the distractions, all the chaos in this world just melt away, and you just create peace within? I think the question here, right? The question here is, what would you change about your life? What would you change about your life? About your life. What would you change about your life? Where you're at right now. What's one thing you would change about your life? Not about someone else's life, right? See, someone else's life does not change your life. That's deception. That's delusion. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're still sleepy. You're still sleeping. You're not awake yet. But if you, when you're asked, what would you change about your life? And if the first thing is, well, I would change who's in charge of the country or in charge of this or doing that, it's like, no, that has nothing to do with your life. You have falsely attached yourself energetically to something, emotionally to something outside of yourself, and you are thinking it is about your life, and it is not about your life. And again, if you know what I'm talking about, welcome to the Results Kill Excuses channel. I'm your host, Greg, and I'm grateful to be here with you this evening for an incredible journey as we talk about life. We talk about spiritual awakening, talk about doing some inner healing. But we also want to talk about, what would you change about your life? What would you change right now? Not what would you change 20 years ago? Because that actually doesn't exist anymore, does it? That was 20 years ago. What would you change right now? What do you have the power to change right now? That's really the deeper question to sit with yourself and ask. What would you change right here, right now about your life that you could change? If you want to be taller, you probably can't change your height, right? But what is there something that you can really start to change in the here and now about you? Not about who's in charge, not about how your team is doing. What would you change about your life in the here and now? What is it about your life? And to even get to that, what I've been coaching and guiding and just learning about myself throughout this process is, going on 14 years of sobriety, 14 years of spiritual awakening, and doing the healing work and doing the therapies and doing that inner child work, healing my childhood traumas, right? Learning about how to forgive myself, forgive others genuinely, how to not to have more self-control, right? That ain't going to do it for you, right? That works 99% of the time. But how to have self-awareness. And the way you have self-awareness is to know yourself. And if you truly knew yourself, then when you start thinking about what you could change, right? You would be honest with yourself. You would be like, I'm beautiful just the way I am. I accept myself just the way I am. Well, if you truly accept yourself the way you are, if you truly love yourself, then there's a pretty good chance there's some things that you have power over that you would absolutely change about yourself. That's beautiful, man. Yeah, to be connected to source more. What's interesting about that, right? Is work. It's like, thank you for that. That's a beautiful comment. It's a great reflection. But the first thing that popped in my head was source saying, "Wait, you cannot disconnect from source. We just are distracted." And it's the noise and it's the disassociation from ourselves that make us have a sense of somehow we're disconnected, but you ain't disconnected. We are all connected. I see you, you see me. We are one. Everything, there's oneness in all of this. You can't disconnect. You actually can't even do that. It's all delusion. It's perception. You just perceive. And a lot of that is even just built in, a lot of the, let's just call it religious beliefs that somehow say that certain activities disconnect you, right? And it's really not the case. What really is the case is that we overload ourselves with baggage, with shame, with guilt, with anger, with hatred, with self-loathing, with grief, right? That we get so bogged down in that it's like, the whole purpose, right? If I was to just put you onto the entire game, right? This is like the final answer and the final quiz of this experience that I've had thus far. and it's been a hell of a journey, is the whole purpose is, okay, we're born into the planet. When you're born, you're open, right? Energetically, I'm talking energetically, spiritually, right? You have open energy. It's because you're basically newborn. You're brand new. You just arrived here and ain't nobody hurt you yet. Even though a lot. I was listening to a great interview yesterday and it was talking about how much cortisol is already introduced into children, right? When they're in vitro. And so you do already start having the stress hormones kicking in. But in general, you haven't taken on the big hits, right? You're sort of getting primed for what's coming. That's kind of how it is. If you had to go through that where, whoever gave birth to you was already just under a tremendous amount of stress, yeah, she was priming you for even greater things to come, right? And that is the normal, right? The normal is having all of the trauma, right? Trauma is wounding, right? It's wounding. It's emotional wounding. And so if you had the stress in vitro, you already got some pretty good shots of cortisol and it just got you ready for the things to actually come. But so here's the final thing. This is the whole picture. I'm just going to start with the end, right? You come into this planet, little baby, your energy is as open as it's been, right? You're open, energetic. And every time that terror, fear, right? And this is, if you're even just experiencing, turmoil, conflict, it could be external, right? It could be your parents fighting, your family fighting. It could be you're in a destruction zone, in a war zone, and just, you're just all around suffering, right? Guess what starts to happen? Your survival mechanism starts to close off. So you start to take on, right, like a little sponge, all of that chaos. And you start to close off this open energy. You're born open, energetic. And then we start to close off. And mostly it's closing your heart and it's closing down your energy centers. And if you were to fast forward to your purpose on this planet, it is for you to reverse that. Everything that you shut down, you now need to, in your own level of conscientiousness with connection with source, you need to reverse the blockages, the energy blocks in your chakra centers and in your heart. You need to open up. And the way that you do that is not as simple, right? There's no abracadabra. There's no magic trick. And that's why a lot of people, even that are so faithful and so religious, are still suffering. They're still sinning, right? Because it's like, we've told ourselves a lie. Oh, it's okay. It's just, right? You're just battling the flesh. It's not battling the flesh. It's battling, right, the subconscious programs, the emotional wounds, and the trauma. And so the goal is to reopen yourself. And the process of reopening is what I teach systematically, because it's what I've figured out for myself along this healing journey, which is how to go from self-sabotaging habits and patterns and beliefs, right, into self-mastery, right? And in between those two is self-discovery, which is really trying to figure yourself out, figure out all the things, take the inventory of everything that's ever happened to you so that you can start doing this, making the changes. You can't just make the changes instant. You start to make changes. And the number one change that I did when I hit my rock bottom 14 years ago, I had to give up my vices. So I said I broke up with alcohol once and for all. I'd had way too many battles with her. And secondly, I asked for help. When I knew I was finally ready and I was like, I can't take this anymore. Right? No more alcohol. I'm done with that. I gave up the weed also, and I asked for some help. That's what I did. And guess what? All my problems weren't solved. And that takes even just that, we lose a lot of people because it's like it's too much of an ask. Asking for help, not drinking. What's wrong with you, man? It's so funny how I can remember in the early years of being sober when I'd have to reveal to people at like a social event that I didn't drink. They'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I understand." Like they're apologizing. They're like, "I'm so sorry you don't poison yourself. We're so sorry. We're so sorry that you can't handle the poison anymore." It's like, I know. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you for your empathy for the fact that I don't want to poison myself anymore. I really, 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 really appreciate that. It means the world to me. And it is that. And so the reason why that first step is so important, which is the mental clarity. The mental clarity is so important. Right? And because the only way you'll get to mental clarity is if you refrain, which is being sober, right? You give up any chemical, right? Induction into your mind. Like you can't be getting any kind of chemical distortions. You're not going to be able to get to the end. You're not going to be able to beat the final boss if you're still chemically distorted and chemically dependent. You can't do it. You'll keep on relapsing back to the early levels, right? And that's what a lot of people are stuck in right now. That's what a lot of you are stuck with right now. You've tried it. Be honest with yourself. You tried it and it didn't work, did it? It didn't work. Why did it work with me? Why is it working with me? Right? I'm not better. Right? I never come on here acting like I'm better than you guys. No, that was never my attitude. What's up, my brother? It's been a while since our paths have crossed. Good evening. I hope all is well. I think you're in Colorado, right? I hope all is well up there, man. Wherever you're at, you're here. And I hope you're doing well. But that's the problem, is the addictions. And I listened to an incredible podcast with one of my favorite guys, Gabor Mate, yesterday. And if you haven't watched it, it's School of Greatness, Lewis Howe, Gabor Mate. Man, he's the master. You can't wiggle out of addiction. He's the guy that coined and has pinned it down that all addiction is rooted in childhood trauma. And you know what? He went deep yesterday. I'm gonna tell you what. Strap in. I'm excited. It's been a minute since I've been on the live stream, and I know a lot of you like watching this, and I appreciate that. It means the world to me that our paths are crossed and that you're willing to listen to this type of content. Because a lot of people, you can't hear it. You're not there yet. You're not awake yet, and I got love for that. But check this out. So the word addiction comes from the root to addict, and it's literally a term for slavery. It's a term for slavery, and it's like if you're indebted to somebody, you're a slave. If you're indebted to something, right, that's where the word addiction comes from. And it makes total sense that we hide behind all these addictions. Because at the end of the day, there's been all these. I'm aligning with Gabor Mate in terms of his beliefs. No, I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm not giving any medical advice. But I do not believe that addictions are hereditary or that they're diseases. I don't think any of that. I think it, just like him, it all stems from unhealed childhood trauma. And what we're trying to do, here's what you're trying to do. Here's what I was trying to do when I allowed for alcohol to have full power over me. Right. And I've had a lot of other things have full power over me too. So let's not even just make addiction about alcohol. We could be talking about alcohol. We could be talking about tobacco. We could talk about gaming. We could be talking about sports. We could be talking about shopping. We could be talking about food. We could be talking about THC. We could be talking about prescription pills. We could be talking about work. We could be talking about pornography. We could be talking about sex. We could be talking about relationships. We could be talking about negativity. Those are all anything that you need. And here's the thing, that when it comes to addiction of any type, here's what's going on with you at a level that probably none of you have ever heard this. Here's what you're trying to do. You're trying to solve a problem for yourself. We've all tried to solve a problem, and that problem is we are hurting. Something inside of us is painful. And all we're trying to do is relieve ourselves of that pain. So we're literally trying to solve a problem. And the thing about a lot of these addictions is they do give relief. However, it's always very temporary. It never actually solves the problem. It only lasts for the moment. And that's why you have to keep coming back to it. That's why you have to keep going back to it and going back to it. And it never actually works. I mean, honestly, we could be addicted to religion. There's some of you all out there right now. You're addicted to religion. It's like you keep going back to it, but it ain't really working. You're not set free. You still are carrying around some really heavy shit and you don't understand why. But you keep showing up and just, that's just the way it is, brother. That's just the flesh. I tried that. When I set out on this journey 14 years ago, I hit my rock bottom and I came to my senses and I said, all right, man, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with whatever the fuck I've been doing to myself. I'm done with that. I know I'm done with that. And I know I'm going to make some drastic changes. I am going to change things about my life. I don't need to change who's elected. That's not going to change my life. I don't need to change what team I'm rooting for. That won't change my life. I don't need to change anything outside of me. I needed to change things about my life, who I was being, and the stories I was telling myself, and the impact of the stories that I was telling myself, and how that was keeping me repressed, suppressed, depressed. If there's anybody out there that's feeling depressed right now, what do you think that's based on? Depression is an attachment to something in the past that you cannot change, that you have yet to accept. But what it ultimately is that whenever that thing was back there, if you do go back there to wherever there is and analyze what really happened, what you'll probably figure out is that there was a place in time where you showed this, again, back to the child. You were open energy. You weren't guarded. So you expressed authentically emotions. Maybe you expressed anger. Maybe you expressed sadness. Maybe you expressed fear. And when you expressed those, guess what happened? If you were in an environment that the people around you weren't able to even handle their own feelings, they shut yours down. And a lot of times, if I acted angry or did something wrong, I was put into isolation. Go to your room. You go to your room by yourself until you change your habits. And then what does that make you think? Because think about it. What I've learned now, if a little 5-year-old little boy or a little girl, if a 5-year-old child came into the room right now, upset, sad, angry, just emotionally activated, I wouldn't tell him, get the hell out of here, go to your room, stop, you know, doing what you're doing. What I would now know is that child needs me. And I have the capacity now to be able to see that child, see their need, embrace that child, hold them and say, hey, what's going on? What, are you angry right now? What's going on? And so just try and imagine yourself doing that with your inner child. Like, this is the part. This is the thing that most of us are like, ah, man, that shit's in my past. I don't need to worry about that. When you act that way to yourself, when you hear me talking like this and you're like, ah, man, what is this guy talking about? I don't need to fucking deal with that shit. That's you telling the little kid that still exists within you, that's carrying around all that pain, that guess what? Their shit don't matter. You don't matter. So how do you think that would make a child feel? Put yourself in that 5-year-old's shoes, coming to an adult and literally feeling a natural feeling. Maybe you were just violated. Maybe something really bad happened and you come running to an adult and the adult doesn't have the capacity to be present with you. They tell you, hey, you want to cry? I'll give you something to cry about. You want to be angry, right? You better stop that shit. How does that leave that child feeling? And so a lot of us need to, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the show. We need to sit in the quiet. We need to really try and figure ourselves out. Give ourselves permission to really kind of figure ourselves out, to say there are some absolute things that we can change about ourselves. We just got to want it. We got to want it, because no one can do it for you. I'm not here to change your life. Right? I hope that you are here to change your life. Right? That's a beautiful thing, right? If you're here to change your life, heck yeah. I'm rooting for you all along the way, because that's all I could be, as a cheerleader for you. You could be a cheerleader for me, right? We can pick each other up, pat each other on the back, high fives, but you got to do the change in your life, just like I've been doing the change in mine. And the change has been completely drastic. It's been drastic. Total transformation that is seen on the outside, but it has felt on the inside, because I transformed myself from the inside out. And that's probably why so many people get impatient with this type of a message, because it doesn't promise you the quick fix. I think a lot of us just want to be lied to. Like, my channel would probably be gigantic if I just sat here and lied to people all day long, promising that your life can change overnight. Say these 3 things. Write these 3 things down on your pillow and go to sleep. Put a piece of paper, get a piece of paper, write these 3 things down, put it under your, say the 3 things in your mind, say them out loud, put it under your pillow, and go to sleep. When you wake up in the morning, your life will be different. And then you'll get up and be like, did my life change? Did my life change? You'll be looking for the change. And then I'll be on there. Okay, so if you did that yesterday, now you just got to do this thing. And every day it's just do this one thing. And it's just like, the process the process of what it takes to get to that end piece, which is to reverse the closed off energy centers that you have, to reopen up your heart. And it really does take you doing the reparenting piece to let your inner child, to let yourself know that, guess what? It's safe. It's safe to be you. It's safe to be the true and authentic version of you. You don't have to wear the mask. You don't have to pretend. You can be you. Even with all the cancel cultures and everything else going on out there. It takes you telling the inner version of you that's afraid, that's insecure. But again, it takes a lot of courage to be even honest with yourself about, I'm not insecure. I'm not scared. Fuck that shit. It's like, okay. Okay. I can almost guarantee you that your life would show otherwise. Your life shows the markers of what's really going on. And if you're somebody that is hearing this message or is searching for real solutions, right? There's work to be done. It is a journey. It is a spiritual awakening. It's a healing journey. It's something that you got to kind of lock in and one step at a time, one day at a time, right? Continuing to undo the damage of the past and like reprogramming ourselves it's a heck of an undertaking because there's no quick way to do it. I can tell you that I'm figuring out how to collapse the timeline, but it's definitely still a timeline. It's still an extended, consistent, committed, dedicated, relentless process that you need to embrace, right? To transform your life, to bring about the changes in your life, to really start to see that your life is worth living and your dreams are meant to be accomplished. They're meant to be accomplished. Your dreams aren't just like something that is like delusional. Like you got some dreams in you. You have all the tools to build your dreams. You just don't have the courage. You don't have the confidence. You don't have the clarity. But you're thinking that you need something else. Well, if I could just get this thing and just have this thing and this thing show up, then I would be able to do it. No. You have everything you need right now. You have everything you need right this minute inside of you to start building. And I like to use the authorship to start writing the most incredible story ever told. And that story should be about your life. You're the main character. You get to be the hero. You get to be the person that lives out their dreams, their wildest dreams. What's stopping you? Doubt, fear, guilt, shame, anger, hatred, low self-worth, low self-esteem, all the things that I've overcome. Insecurities, not having self-belief. And so how do you turn all that negative into a positive? It's like you need to realize that you're feeding that energy every single day. If you're someone that doesn't believe in yourself to do anything that really challenges you, you just want you just want everything to come easy. Anything that presents a challenge that's going to really take you locking in and committing, if that shit fucking breaks you before you even try, it just breaks you mentally. You're like, oh, I can't do it. That's too hard. I can't do that. then I feel bad for you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your life has been that tough and beat you down that bad. But I'm also here to tell you that I believe that people like you, people like me, because people like you are people like me, and people like me are people like you, the ones that have been through the toughest shit, it's because you probably are one of the most powerful people on this planet. You put yourself through this, and I'm here to wake you up. I'm here to shine that light to wake you up and say, hey, wait, time out. You've been through all that and you're still here. You may be barely feeling like you don't understand. I'm barely here. That's what some of y'all are saying. And I'm like, I hear you, but you're still here. And because you're still here, that means there's still a purpose for you. That means you have unfinished business. Unfinished business for your life. But the thing that you lack is vision for yourself. When I say vision, I'm talking big visions. Big visions. Did you know that there was 3 types of goals? There's 3 levels to goals: A goals, B goals, and C goals. Anybody ever heard that? And I'm not talking about the ones that are at the beach, not those type of C goals. So I'm gonna break this down for you real quick, because when you start thinking about goals, when you start thinking about dreams, you should, in this life, from this day forward, be thinking about C goals. C goals. Right. Versus A goals or B goals. Sobriety is wonderful. I am cracking myself up. That's a beautiful thing. Anybody having fun out there? Any of you just have fun? Just being you, just being having fun, being silly, enjoying life. Don't need any substances, don't need any stimulation, just being yourself and enjoying it. That's what true healing feels like and looks like. So A goals, the way you remember what an A goal is it's something you've already done. You've done it in your past, and you already know you could do it again. So it's literally very low bar. It's a very low bar. You're like, yeah, ain't no thing, I got that one. But that's what most people's goals are. There's something very realistic, very obtainable, because we don't want to look bad, or we don't want to fail ourselves. We're already so wounded. But some of us don't even have the courage and confidence to go after an A goal, right? An A goal, something you've already done. But it definitely won't stretch you because it's easy. And so a B goal is just a little farther up. A B goal is something you believe you can accomplish, but you've yet to try. So again, A goal, already been there. B goal is something you believe you can do, but you haven't yet given yourself a shot at trying. And a C goal is crazy big. It's a crazy big goal, that it is so crazy big that if you were to tell people about this goal, the C goal, people would tell you, you crazy. You cray thinking that kind of goals. You can't do that. You cray. And that is the goal. That's like when you hear someone telling you, you know what, you're crazy thinking you could do that. That should be like a ding, ding, ding. That's the goal. There it is. The one that people are starting to tell you, you're crazy. That's crazy. Talking like that, talking like you could do that. I know you. I know who you are. There's no way in hell you could do that. There's nothing more beautiful than having just a little bit of motivation, right? Turning in all that negativity, all that doubt from other people, projecting their insecurities, right? Because you gotta remember, a lot of times you probably shouldn't even share your goals. But the few people you do, if they tell you, "Oh man, that's crazy. That's a crazy goal. That's what your mind is." And you're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Okay, man. Fucking 2 thumbs up. Have fun with that." It's like, that's crazy. But it's usually best that you just kind of keep your goals on the down low, right? See, a lot of times people, you'll see this especially because of social media, and this is where most people lose their self-confidence. Right? Social medias can be a really bad thing in terms of our confidence, because what are we doing on social media more times than not? We're comparing ourselves. And so everything you're seeing, you're comparing it to you. And guess what? Most of those things you're seeing probably have an appearance that someone is doing better than you. Their life is better. And what does that leave you feeling? Not better about yourself. And that's why when you post, I always get a kick out of people because I see a pattern and I'm always looking for patterns. And the reason why we're talking about goals is because that's what it takes to change something about your life. You got to start you got to come up with that crazy goal, and then you got to reverse engineer it. You got to bring it back down into daily steps. You got to do some research and figure out somebody else that's out there that's accomplished it. Because, I mean, maybe there's something that you might be the first person to ever do the thing that's on your heart, that's in your mind, that's in your soul. And that's incredible. I'm cheering for you to please, please, please start investing in yourself. I'm begging you to do it. If you're hearing this message and you have an unfilled desire, a goal, a dream inside of you that you just don't know how, your job is to not know how. If you have a vision, you just put that vision on the wall, print it out, find other people that are doing something similar, figure out how they got there, start figuring out what you need to start doing to position yourself. But again, that takes clarity, that takes focus, that takes disconnecting from a lot of distractions. You may have to give up a season of your favorite sport. Could you imagine that? The pain? Could you imagine the withdrawals from missing a whole entire season? A whole season. Wow, one season. Could you imagine if you had to go one season? Could you imagine if your crazy goal becoming a reality only required you to give up one season of your favorite sport? Could you imagine that? Because all that time, all that focus, all that energy would be invested in you, in your life, not someone else's. Your life. Remember, your life is all that matters. You cheering for someone else's life, unless it's like your immediate family, you're wasting your time. It is a waste of time. It is a waste of life, even more so. Because every single person on this planet was put here to fulfill a purpose greater than just sitting around and doing whatever it is that you do when you're sitting around. We are meant to be doing, moving, right? Being a mover, being a shaker, right? Being someone that embraces challenges, that tests their grit, test your mental and emotional and spiritual and physical prowess, right? To really put yourself through the tests, to face those fears, to face the doubts, right? To hear all them naysayers and to not believe what they think about it. And to not use it as arrogance, like, I'm going to prove them wrong, right? I'm going to show them. It's like that. Yeah. That's probably helped a lot of people to be successful, but I don't think that's the right spirit. Why don't you just focus on you doing the best you can do, going all out on you? And I promise you, along that way, you are going to inspire people. You are going to inspire so many people because they're going to see it. They're going to see your results, your actions. They're going to see that when you really tap into your purpose on this planet, the gifts and the talents and the hidden treasures that you are hiding inside of you, and that you start to activate, you start to develop, you start to cultivate, and then you start mastering and sharing it and expressing the gifts inside of you. Like, you're going to inspire so many people. You don't have to worry about the haters. They'll eventually become your fans, and you'll be their fans when they start doing theirs. See, that's what happens. Winning is contagious. Winners, right, love to be around winners. Losers are the ones that are like wanting everyone to be losers. Losers hate seeing people win. It's like, and I used to be that. I used to have a loser's mentality. Maybe that's what you got right now. You can't stand seeing someone else win. It's like, man, I'm cheering for everybody. I see someone doing good. Heck yeah, let's go. Because the beautiful thing is I live in a reality that is infinite abundance. For you to win, I don't have to lose. We can both win. You can win big at whatever it is that you want to win at. And I can win big at whatever I need to win at. And I don't want what's yours, and you can't have what's mine. That's what's so beautiful. It's all in our ego that we just, when we're not doing, when we're just sitting around and waiting and wishing and wanting someone to save us, that's when we're like jealous and envious and hate and sending evil eye towards people, wishing that cheering on people getting injured or unalived or whatever it is, or like falling on their face. We cheer it because it's like, oh, good, right? And there's winners don't do that. When you see people competing, think about it. If you are a sports fan, when have you ever seen, like, you'll see all the trash talk, right? Just banter, trash talk leading up to the big event, the big game, the big match. And then once it goes down, there's mutual respect for those that bore the weight of the battle. It's always been that way, whether it was in combat, conflict, or sports. We've always learned how to respect our adversaries. But it's only it's this loser's mentality. It's the people in the stands that are afraid of the arena. And it's like, wait, we're supposed to be in the arena. Every one of us, every person on this planet has the ability to be in the arena. And it's not competing against other people per se. It's literally just cultivating and developing and mastering whatever it is that your skill is. Because again, we're not given equal measures of whatever we're given. Everyone has something so unique. You are one of one. But you're spending too much time doing this, getting all butthurt because someone else is kicking ass. And it makes you feel like you're not doing enough. But then you listen to all the negativity inside of you, which is usually programmed from early childhood, And again, it's usually from the people closest to you in your upbringing, and it's all their insecurities and all their doubts and all their mindsets. And it's like, you can't believe that shit. You need to go in and start doing some reprogramming work to really start believing in yourself. And that takes holding yourself accountable. That takes self-discipline. And the way that you get to those things is you got to start building your confidence. You have to start saying what you mean and mean what you say. And what we teach here at Results Kill Excuses is 1% better every day. But no 0 days, no days off. Consistent. You don't have to do massive things. You don't have to you don't have the weight of like, I got to change my whole life overnight. I mean, that's probably why people do all the cosmetic surgery and the hair colors and all the different things that you can change your outfits. And, that gives you a sense of, oh, I'm changing. And it's like, no, you're not. That's all external. Changing the inside is what's going to give you a complete transformation of who you truly are. Me changing costumes, me cutting my hair, it doesn't change who I am. At the core of who I am, at my core soul frequency. If my core soul frequency is that of lack, fear, guilt, shame, poverty, anger, hatred, jealousy, apathy, grief, sadness, right? If that's who I truly am, and that's how I really feel about myself, that's where I'm putting a lot of my energy. Guess what? That's what you're seeing in this world. It's all a full-length mirror. Everything you see is a full-length mirror. And that's kind of advanced curriculum. That's advanced awareness for you to actually have that kind of perspective. Like, you got to really have the mask come off of your eyes, the veil be lifted to be like, oh shit, none of this shit out here matters. None of this matters. Everything, my whole world, your whole existence is all reflective of what's going on inside of you. It's all about what's going on the inside. It's not even just the thoughts, it's the feelings. It's your energy. It's do you feel? And most of us are in such denial about how we really feel in this world because we don't want to look weak. We don't want to be vulnerable. We're too afraid to say, hey, I'm scared. I'm scared right now. I'm scared of all the crazy shit going on in this world. And it's like, if you're scared about everything that's going on in this world, well, the way that you fix that, because there is a way that you absolutely can fix it, and it's not voting differently or voting more, right? If you genuinely are afraid of what's happening in this world, genuinely, like I'm being very serious right now. That is a reflection on what's going on inside of you. That inner child inside of you does not feel safe in this world. That tells me that you experienced some pretty traumatic events as a little kid, 0 to 10, 0 to 10. And you probably lacked somebody to really sit there with you when you felt afraid and to really hold that space for you, to tell you that you're safe. Even if something happened and then now you're in the aftermath of it, it's like trying to still rebuild and get back to restore yourself back to that place. Most of us have not learned how to restore ourselves after a traumatic event. We just suppress. And then most of us, our coping mechanisms is addictions. And addictions is a method of trying to solve our problem. And our problem is we feel pain. And we don't even know how to put words to it. We don't even know how to describe it. And most of us subconsciously have no control over it. It takes over itself. So we feel powerless even to our own mechanisms and our own personalities that take over in times of stress, a sense of being overwhelmed. And there is a literal process called a reparenting. It's doing the shadow work. It's really like going in and doing the life review to really get into the shadows and open up the closet. Right? We always talk about skeletons in the closet. There ain't no skeletons in there, but there's probably some really fucking heavy shit that you experienced. And the only way that you're going to ever be able to start moving forward and not being stuck is by turning on the light in all these dark places within you. And it takes some courage to do that. And it also is probably going to take you humbling yourself and asking for some help. It's also going to take you clearing your mind from chemical dependencies. I think that's number one. Number two is asking for help. Number three is starting to engage in doing the self-discovery work. And that self-discovery is starting to shine the light, doing the life review. What did you experience? And a lot of people that I work with, there's blockages in the memory. They're like, I don't even remember my childhood. I'm like, that's a huge indicator that the stuff you experienced was heavy duty. And what we need to realize societally is that carrying around childhood trauma is the norm. Most people, not all, but most of us on this planet have experienced childhood trauma. And even though we think at some point, I'm done with the kid shit, time to grow up, time to get on with my life. It's like you can have that attitude, but that is not going to make the shit that happened to you back then go away. It doesn't just go away. It doesn't just disappear. It continues to show up in your personality. It continues to show up in the times of stress. It continues to show up, and you know it. You're your worst enemy. That's why I call that phase one is really this. It's understanding the mechanisms and the habits and the patterns of self-sabotaging behaviors, right? But when we feel stuck in life, why do you think so many people that I'm working with right now feel stuck? Why do you think they feel stuck? It's because if you go back to when you were a child and you weren't able to process your emotions in the care of a compassionate, understanding witness, right? Usually you if you activated someone else with your emotions, you suppressed, right? And when you suppress emotions, which means you push them down, you've been pushing down your emotions, your feelings, your real feelings. You were told it's not safe. The world's not safe. It's not safe to feel the way you feel. So guess what? You got to put on masks, right? You got to pretend like everything's okay, put on a smile, and you got to hide this shit. And why do you think you're stuck? Because you're so depressed. Everything is literally blocked off inside of you. And as I've said, the process of healing that has worked for me, and it's what I'm guiding people through now, is how to reverse it. How to reopen yourself up to being safe enough to sit with yourself in the mud, sit with yourself in those dark places, in those really painful experiences of your past, to get fucking real with yourself, to feel your feelings. It's okay to feel your feelings. No more fucking the feelings. We have to feel our feelings if we want to get unstuck, if we want to progress, if we want to heal, if we want to move forward in life in a positive direction. And I wish magic tricks helped because I tried them all. I tried it all. I tried all the religions. I tried different spirituality. I tried a lot of different things. And yet, if any of those things worked, I would be on here promoting the one thing, saying, all you need is this and everything is going to be great, guys. Everything was so great for me. I tried this one thing and it worked. And now I'm great. And it happened. It overnight success. Fuck no, it didn't work. I tried it. It didn't work. Because the guiding principle for me, when I had my goal out there, after I'd hit my rock bottom, I said, I can't live like this anymore. And the thing that I saw in the far distance was figuring out a way that I could trust myself again. And by trusting, what I've learned is it's like how to be masterful of myself, how to not have control. Because I had control. I could behave. I could wear the mask in the workplace, in public, but behind closed doors, the mask usually came off. And guess what happened? I usually hurt people I loved emotionally, just psychologically, because I was hurting. And I couldn't control it. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Why can't I control this part of myself? Everybody's telling me control it. And then these other people, these new people are trying to tell me it's okay, bro. It's just the flesh, bro. You just got to keep, beating down the flesh, bro. Slaying the flesh. Like, what does that mean, bro? It's not working, dog. It's not working. I needed something more. So I kept moving. I kept moving forward. I kept progressing. I kept searching. I kept searching for answers to try and really figure myself out. How could I truly be my own worst enemy? Is it really the flesh? The flesh. It's the flesh. That's what I used to always be told. It's your flesh, bro. And if you know, you know. I'm here to tell you it's not the flesh. It's the subconscious programs from childhood trauma. And if you want to define that as the flesh, it doesn't go away. You have to actually reprogram yourself. And the only way you can reprogram yourself is you have to fully see yourself. You got to see the good. You got to see the bad. And yes, you got to see the really ugly stuff about yourself. You got to really see it. You got to realize that you can be very ugly, can't you? You could be a really nasty person, can't you? And a lot of us, we don't want to see that in ourselves. We're like, oh no, I'm me. No, I'm a saint. I'm perfect. I'm a goody good. No way. And it's like, you can tell me that, but I know otherwise. I know what we're all capable of, right? It took a lot of courage for me to really see the dark side of myself. And the beautiful thing is once I really sat and I shined the light in that dark side of myself and I took an inventory. I'm the journal master. I love journaling everything. It's like I started writing down all the good things because I just wanted to see all the good things about myself. And then I said, you know what? I need to account for the bad things, the ugly stuff about me. Right? I need to say that that's a part of who I am. That is a part of who I am. I don't want to just call it flesh. I want to actually say, I'm a this and a that and da-da-da-da-da. And when I actually did that list, it was like instantly I felt the light shine in the darkness. And it was like that part of me, the dark side of me, was revealed. Right? And it was like, oh wow, do you really want me to be out here like this in the light? You don't want to keep me hidden over there in the corner in the dark? And I said, no, you're good. I accept you. I see that. I see who I'm capable of being. I see what I've been and what I can be. And in that moment, it was like, because I fully accepted myself, it was like I was able to transmute the fear of darkness into the power of darkness and bring it into the light to be a force of good. And I hope that you just caught what I said. Because when we're in denial of the dark side of ourselves, like we are literally conflicted inside, right? We're gaslighting people, we're projecting people, anybody that insults us, anybody that points out your little Miss Nasty or your little Mr. Asshole side of you, right away you want to freaking go to battle with them. How dare you? How dare you point to something I know about myself that I am in denial of? How dare you do that? I'm insulted that you would see a part of me that I don't accept about myself. That's how most of us are living right now. How dare you? How dare you point out a part of myself that I am in denial of? And how dare you see that in me? And when you're able to really sit in that and see it in yourself, this is the shadow work that's a part of the healing process. Is you have to see that part of you. You have to, those are the dark nights of the soul. You got to see that part of yourself. But once you do, what happened with me is dark energy is the most powerful energy. It's powerful. It's powerful. Dark energy is incredibly powerful. Good evening, my brother. Welcome. And it doesn't mean it's evil. The only time that it's used to do bad things is when it's hidden, right? When we're in denial of what its power is, when we act as if it's not in us and I'm such a good person and there's no way I'm ever mean and nasty. And then, it's just magnified at greater levels and bigger doses in people and organizations and groups, but it's all darkness. And so you can either allow it to be something you're afraid of your own self, and then that's when it can act in a very deceptive way, in a very sabotaging way, in a very harmful way. But when you shine the light on that energy, it gets transmuted into a force of good, to where it's like a powerful force. A good example is light energy. Like if you were at home and there was a threat that came to your door, right? And you had to spring into action, or maybe you're just like walking in the forest and an animal comes to try and attack you. I mean, some of y'all would just lay down and get eaten, but those of you that would say, I'm going to put up a fight towards a threat against my life and the lives of those around me, I'm going to put up a fight. That fighting spirit is dark energy. It's a very protective, and it's so powerful that it can literally protect you in some of the most dire times of life. It is the energy that shows up. That's not the light, loving energy. All accepting, loving energy is beautiful. Love, joy, peace, light, very powerful energy. But the dark energy is equally as powerful if transmuted for force of good, because it's only looking to say, I'm here to protect, not here to harm. But it takes having that self-awareness. But when you're in denial of yourself, there's a good chance that you are using, even if in little micro doses, dark energy to cause harm towards others. And you're even in denial of that. Oh, I've never hurt anybody. Sure. Yeah, good luck. Good luck not having that be omitted from your life review. Never hurt anybody is going to be on your cosmic life review. No one has that on their chart. I'm here to tell you. There's nobody, when your life comes to an end, when you have your review, is it going to say never hurt another person? We're all guilty. We're all guilty of it. And so, yeah, I love these chats. I appreciate everybody that's been getting on here. It's been a good conversation about change. What would you change about your life? What could you change about your life? I guarantee you there's some things that you could change, that you don't even want to acknowledge that you can change? Because right away you put those in a list that it's like too hard. Just because it's too hard in your mind, that doesn't mean you can't change it. Because you can change even it being from too hard to being like difficult or challenging, but you have the spirit to say, I'm going to take on that challenge. I'm going to take on that difficulty. Because when it's kind of too hard, that means it's like, I don't have what it takes to do it. You're already letting yourself off the hook to even try and roll up your sleeves, see what happens. Trial and error, just give it a go. And sometimes you don't even have to figure out the how. Sometimes it's just taking little baby steps. And you know where the biggest steps are you can start taking? Changing your mindset. Having more awareness to realize, you know what, I am really super negative. I do put way too much energy towards the negativity. Maybe I should start thinking about more positive things. I wonder if your life would change the way my life changed when I started listening to positive affirmations every single morning. As I saw 1 just pop up. I wonder if that makes sense. That if you listen to positive things every morning, specifically positive affirmations, I wonder if that would start to change your mind. Because if you wake up and you're already filled with a bunch of cortisol and stress and worry and overwhelm and just life is just kicking your ass, I got a heart for you. But I also have some advice to say, is there anything that you could change about your morning? Because usually whatever seeds you're planting in the morning are going to grow throughout the day. But whatever seeds you have in the morning are usually gathered the night before. This is how this works. Because from the plants, right? Do you see how it kind of synchronizes? So you plant the seeds in the morning, it grows, right? The plant grows throughout the day. That's what you experience because of your thoughts in the morning time. Then you get the seeds from those plants. And then you wake up, you go to bed, you wake up again, you plant more seeds. And if you just keep on, whatever you're reaping is what you're sowing. If you're sowing negativity, doubt, fear, overwhelm, hatred, anger, worry, stress, if that's what you're focused on, you need to break that cycle. You need to have a pattern interrupt. Something needs to break the cycle. Maybe you need to do a fast. Maybe a 24-hour fast can get you to just like get out of your head, get more into your spirit. Right? That's a powerful tool. I talk about a lot of powerful tools on here. And I have a powerful resource if any of this stuff makes sense to you. And if you haven't jumped on this bandwagon yet, but you're looking for a resource that could help you to really start planting those seeds of positivity in the morning, you should take a look at the 1% Better Everyday Journal. There are 2 volumes that are out right now, which cover 6 months of every single day you investing time in holding yourself accountable, starting to really plant the seeds of healing and growth and even just accomplishing your goals. It's a very fun process. It's something that many people have already jumped on. If you're interested in the 1% Better Everyday Journal, you can click on the link down below. You can go to resultskillexcuses.com, go into the shop and click on printed products. It's not hard to find. But again, you got to want to do something different with your life. And I always say it starts in the mind, right? If you're someone that's dealing with addiction issues, you could download the Results Kill Excuses app, type in those 3 words into your app store. There's a free class that's 1 week long called Breaking Up With My Addictions. That's a massive leap of faith to really start to make some shifts and some changes, as we're already coming in for a landing on 2025, and 2026 is right there. And I always say this is the separation season, right? A lot of you are thinking this is the holiday season. I don't look at it like that. Every day is a holiday for me. Every day is a beautiful day to celebrate life. I celebrate every day the same. But I see it as a separation season. And that means that right now, if you start putting in effort towards making some changes in your life, and you start those habits now, it's a jump start on next year. You already have momentum. You kick down the door to 26 instead of like fall flat on your face and roll over and you're like, oh shit, another year. And then you're just focused on how big of a challenge this year alone, 2025 has been the most challenging year of my life. But it's also been the most fulfilling because I see every challenge as an opportunity to grow. Do you have that mindset? If not, stick around. I can show you how to develop that mindset for yourself, to see every challenge in life, no matter how big or small, as an opportunity for you to step up, to grow, to be better, to become more, to truly be the hero of your story, the main character of your story. I think I'm going to leave the message here today. I hope that it gave you a lot of opportunity to really think about things you can change, right? But they always say, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And I say, if one thing changes, everything changes. Change one thing. Do it today. Continue doing it every single day and give yourself some time. If you make one change, 1% every single day over an extended period of time, that is the recipe for massive transformation. People that are just looking for massive quantum leaps, overnight success, overnight transformation, instant transformation, it's like it never lasts. It never lasts because, again, easy come, easy go. I'm still old school like that, right? Put in the work, be consistent, stay locked in, and you will be guaranteed that you will accomplish anything that you put your heart and mind and soul into. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it won't be worth it. Greg's out.